Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, this time of Highlander 3, The Final Dimension. It was also known as Highlander 3, The Sorcerer, Highlander 3, The Magician. Those titles make sense because I'm not sure why it's called The Final Dimension. I guess because they thought it was the final movie, but there's not really anything with dimensions. It's not like they go through dimensions or the movie takes place in another dimension or the bad guys from another dimension. I guess again, it's just called that because they thought this was the final one. The second film was very much hated by everybody, so they ignored the second film. And I'm the guy that likes this film. Um, by this point, you've already seen the review and know my thoughts on this. And if not, you can feel free to watch it to know why I liked the film. At least I remember it being ambitious, fun sword fights, good music, cool villain, Michael Ironside. Yeah, I did that review. By the time you've seen this, it's uploaded. I'm finding it hard to talk about. It's an okay time waster because I like Christopher Lambert. Marv Van Peebles is definitely chewing the scenery as Kane. You have Mako. Some people say Mako, some people pronounce it Mako. He was in Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer. He was the voice of Splinter in the 2007 CGI Ninja Turtles animated movie. And you also have Deborah Unger. She was in The Game with Michael Douglas. I liked that film a lot. She was also in the Silent Hill movie. Okay, it's okay of a movie because Marv Van Peebles was fun. I like Christopher Lambert. When the sword fight at the end is entertaining, the quickening at the end is entertaining. The little bits that the villain does with his sorcery, like he kidnaps Christopher Lambert's kid and makes them think they're driving towards a plane, but the plane's not real. He messes with Christopher Lambert in the finale, using a little bit of. He becomes the master of illusion. Uses maybe could have used a little bit more of the illusion abilities, but he does a little bit with it. But the reason I'm stumbling over my words is that the film is a carbon copy of the first movie. The reason they did that is because so many people hated this film with how different it was. They said, you know what, let's play it very, very safe and let's do just a carbon copy. And so many people liked that one over this, and I disagree. Now, again, I don't hate the movie. And there's been other films that are the same as the previous film that I enjoy. Another 48 Hours, Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte. That's very much the same as the first film. But I really enjoy that film. And I would put another 48 Hours above Highlander 3. But like this film, I thought was a lot more fun. They had a budget, the visual aspect, the directed by Russell Mulcahy. The Russell Mulcahy does not come back for this. It's a different director. I think it's the same director that did the Wham music video. Wake me up before you go. I swear it's the same guy who directed that when I looked up info for this. I don't think the guy's directed a lot of movies since. And he's alright. Okay, the reason I say this is pretty much a carbon copy, once again, Connor MacLeod goes back to New York. Once again, he meets a woman who is doing some kind of scientific work. In the first film is forensics, in this it's an archaeologist. In the first one, she was looking into this sword, and this one she's looking into this fabric. They both lead to them finding out about Connor MacLeod. Once again, you have cops looking into and thinking he's a murderer. Once again, People say Michael Ironside was trying to copy Clancy Brown. Not really. I didn't see that. This I see more. Mario Van Peebles, voice-wise. It seems like he was really trying to mimic Clancy Brown with the voice. Maybe that's what he was told to do. Because Mario Van Peebles definitely has more of that voice that Clancy Brown had in the first movie. Michael Ironside, I thought he was being his own villain. I really did. Other than he does take control of a vehicle and fucks it up, but that was a subway and that was at least doing its own thing in a very big manner. Here it's literally once again the villain using a car to scare the shit out of someone. In the first film, Clancy Brown did it twice. One to this old woman, the other to the female character. In this one, Mara Van Peebles does it to the kid, which Christopher Lambert adopted. It's just a lot of things that are the same as the first movie. It's like I'm watching the first movie again. Just it's not as good as the first movie. The stuff they do add, the Sorcerer, Nakano, aka Mako, and he trains Connor MacLeod a little bit in his cave. The villain has a nose ring, he tackles over the top, hamming it up. But again, Mario Van Peebles is having fun with the role. And I'm trying to think if this was before or after Gunman, because that's another film Christopher Lambert and Mario Van Peebles did together. And I can say I enjoyed Gunman a lot more than this. Gunman is a very fun, entertaining movie. It also has Dennis Leary, who's your villain. You have Patrick Stewart. But it stars Christopher Lambert and Mario Van Peebles, and they're on the same side. They're sort of a buddy movie with the two of them, face off against Dennis Leary. Gunman, very underrated film. Again, I put that above this. And Marco's teaching Christopher Lambert to respect the power of illusion, fight with your spirit, and your sword will follow. But he's being trained to use a sword, kind of like he was training with Sean Connery to use a sword. Marvin Peebles arrives with his two henchmen guys. Marco makes an illusion with three bodies. Marvin Peebles ain't having it, cuts Marco's head off. The quickening happens. Marco laughs, even with his head off, because his quickening collapses the cave and traps the three bad guys. So even though they're trapped in a cave, I guess the first film happens, the gathering, the prize, can't see through a fucking cave to notice that there's still three immortals. So the prize can't see through a fucking cave. Okay. And even like with the way they deal with the death of his loved one from the first film, at least in the sequel, they do more with that because they show a flashback of her death. And it's a great pullback by Russell Mulcahy where they show like hundreds, it seems, of beds and these other people who were affected by the sun fucking up. At least there's more to it. Here you just get the cop telling Deborah Under, oh, there was a car crash and he walked away. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, he walked away, so he's now mortal. He wasn't mortal at that point, even though he was supposed to be. Because the cop says he walked away without a scratch, or something like that. But the wife killed or died. So people think even the logic in this is wanty. You want to talk about the logic being wanty? I'm talking about the special edition. I'm not talking about the theatrical with the aliens. I'm talking about this version. Yeah, the logic is wanty, but so is this one. And so again, I don't really get why people like this over this. It's your opinion. It's the same movie as the first. Literally, almost the same movie. And you have this part that you didn't need where Christopher Lambert, he gets mugged and then put in a hospital, and then this guy who thinks he's Napoleon helps him out and he escapes. But that's so we can get to the basement of this hospital. That's also like a almost like a big boiler room. And there's two guys who's with Marv Van Peebles, and they're let out because Deborah Under and her archaeology team. Marv Van Peebles kills his own guy, so that's a waste of that guy. The other guy, it's not even a sword fight, it's just, how the fuck does it happen? Oh, he does the one move. Like he's coming towards him and he does this move Mako showed him where he's using the guy's momentum to turn the sword around. So it kills the guy in 10 seconds. So it's not really a fight. And then you have this quickening. He goes back, he's in New York. Marv Van Peebles arrives. He has this fun little bit using his illusion where you have the thing on the streets where pick a card, pick any card, pick the red card, find the red card. And Mario finds 3 red cards. So, and then he steals the guy's glasses with magic. You get flashbacks to Christopher Lambert knew Deborah Under, a girl like her way back in the day in Paris. Which I guess they didn't do a lot of that in the second film. Which I was fine with. But I guess other people got mad, so they went back to that. I'm really trying to struggle what the hell else happened in this movie. Oh, the kid calls an answer machine, and thankfully, this kid, even though it's like, hey, I miss you, Daddy. Oh, in case you forget the address, I give the full fucking address. And thankfully, Marv Van Peebles is there to listen to it. They were under the love stuff between her and Christopher Lambert. You do get a lengthy sex scene. I could be wrong, but I think the original theatrical cut was PG-13. Could be wrong on that. I know the DVD, which is in the other room, I forgot it, but it's a extended cut. Probably to add stuff like that lengthy sex scene back in. There's a moment where his sword breaks because he's on holy ground with Marv Van Peebles, and the sword shatters, and then he makes another sword. Trains a little bit. Marv Van Peebles gets his kid from the airport. Christopher Lambert is arrested. That whole cop thing investigation really goes nowhere. It kind of went nowhere in the first movie. So I don't know why they brought it back to that in this movie. It really does seem like they took the script from the first movie and they changed they put in the sorcery bits. Okay, instead of forensics, she's into archaeology, and at the end, it's at a petrochemical plant. There's a lot of pipe, steam, and fire. And before that, Marv Van Peebles was fucking with the kid. Keep your eye on the road. That bit was fun. It's hammy. It's over the top. But again, Marv Van Peebles, he's having fun chewing the scenery. But he really is doing a copy of Clancy Brown. Again, I did not feel that with Michael Ironside. I do feel that with this. And the fight between Lambert and Marv Van Peebles is fun. Yeah, it's cool to see them face off each other and then see them working together in Gunman. And at least Lambert does get some hits in. And there's sort of an instrumental version of Dr. Feelgood. It's not actual Dr. Feelgood, but it's like someone did a remix version of it, and it's the instrumental. Dun, 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 dun. It doesn't sound exactly like Dr. Feelgood, but kind of some type of version. And he does some bits with the illusion. The gets half of himself cut off, but goes back together. There's a bridge Lambert's on, and it fades away. You think Deborah Under's there, but it's not. It's really Mario Van Peebles, and you have a morphine effect. That's really it. And Lambert beats the fuck out of Mario Van Peebles, kills him. I'll see you in hell. I'll be the judge of that. Cuts his head off. There could be only one. Pretty decent quickening. Explosion, sparks. Goes off with his new woman and the kid. It's finally over. The end song, yeah, I prefer the end song than this movie. One dream, again, watching this version, I put, it's okay. It's an okay film. I don't repeat myself because there's not much to say. Lambert I like as an actor. Mario Van Peebles is hamming it up and fun. The keep your eye on the road stuff, fucking with the kid. The fight scene at the end is entertaining. There's not much that I found atrocious about it compared to Endgame and The Source. It's just an average, okay copy of the first movie. And in my opinion, again, they did this because the second one tried to do so many different things, people got pissed. So they went the total opposite and did almost the same fucking movie as the first. And I think that's why many people prefer it over the second movie. I feel the opposite. But again, it's a masterpiece compared to Endgame and The Source. This is the last decent Highlander thing. Because I'm not much a fan of the TV show. I'm just not my cup of tea. I don't care about the cartoons, anime, and stuff. And the next two films are pieces of shit. So I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's the same as the first movie with just a teeny bit of differences. It's okay. I'm fine with having it in my collection. It's for a rainy day. Sure, pop it in. There's much worse movies. Eh. What's it in? I don't know why it's called The Final Dimension because there's no dimension travel or anything. But whatever. Thanks for watching. Take care. And see you on the next one. Later.